space, reality. It's more than a linear path. It's a prism of endless possibility, where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities, creating alternate worlds from the ones you know. I am the Watcher. I am your guide through these vast new realities. Follow me and ponder the question, what if?
Earth 464. Your universe. Burnley's time in the Premier League came to an end, starting with the sacking of beloved manager Sean Dyche. Who would take charge? But Burnley's mainstay, Ben Mee, who tried his best to save the club, but couldn't. But in another universe, Earth 534, Ben Mee took charge of Burnley from the start of the season, in a bid to change Burnley and take them in a positive direction. But how did he fare? I am the Watcher, and welcome to Earth 534, where Ben Mee is Burnley manager. The reign of Sean Dyche is over, and the reign of Ben Mee at just the age of 31 is underway. But how did he get on in his first season? So at the end of the first season, unfortunately for Ben Mee, he got relegated with Burnley, and although they got more wins than Watford, Watford managed to secure one extra point on top of Burnley. Man City managed to win the league though, with a classic top four of Chelsea, Man United and Liverpool. And apart from that, the demise of Tottenham is the only other talking point. But we aren't talking about the Premier League today. We are talking about Burnley and Ben Mee. So is he still in charge? Yes, he is. Ben Mee is still Burnley manager, with Jack Cork replacing him as captain of the club. But how do they get on in other competitions? Well, Burnley lost in the third round of the Carabao Cup to Everton on penalties after getting a win against Accrington Stanley in the second round of the Carabao Cup. And in the FA Cup, they only got past one round yet again, beating Morecambe but losing out to Leicester City. And despite beating Leeds and West Ham in their final two games of the season, their run here of 5 defeats in a row was enough to spell the end of Burnley's time in the Premier League. So as we head into season 2, Burnley's first season in the Championship, can Ben Mee get them back to the Premier League? So in Burnley's first season in the Championship, they finished in third, only 3 points from automatic promotion. Norwich managed to beat them out by just those extra 3 draws. Those draws are killing Burnley at the moment. In the playoffs though, Burnley managed to whistle past Bournemouth and Stoke managed to get past Sheffield United. But in the final, Stoke managed to batter Burnley 3-0, which keeps Burnley in the Championship for one more season. Ben Mee's side actually started off really well, getting to September before meeting their first defeat, which ended up being against Stoke, getting past the 4th round of the Carabao Cup and losing in the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup on penalties to Blackburn, obviously with the World Cup in the mix of all of this. They actually didn't lose many matches in the first half of the season. It was a very good start for them. But they did manage to pick up a few losses towards the end of the season, but not too many. They just had this poor run here in those 4 games where they only picked up 2 points. They picked up any wins in those, they probably would have gotten promoted. They also got past the third and fourth round of the FA Cup, beating Swindon and Sheffield United on the way, but losing out to Manchester City, which is no disgrace, only 4-2 in the FA Cup fifth round. So not only did Burnley compete in the Championship, they also competed on all fronts. In every single competition that they competed in, they managed to make an impression, get into the quarterfinal, and then losing in the fifth round to Manchester City. So going into the third season, could Burnley get back to the Premier League and earn that promotion spot? Well, it is joy for Ben Mee's side as they managed to get automatic promotion from the Championship alongside recently relegated Wolves, who finished on a whopping 106 points. But Burnley's 91 points was more than enough, 16 points from everyone else in those playoff spots. It wasn't even close, it wasn't even contested, it was more of a battle between Wolves and Burnley, but even then Wolves pulled away from it. So Burnley ended up not having to contend with many people and just get that lovely promotional spot into the Premier League. Ben Mee's side though unfortunately met defeat in the first round of the Carabao Cup as they lost on penalties to Preston, but in the league they didn't meet a defeat until the 16th of December 2023, where they lost to Wolves. All the others were draws and wins, and even if you count the Carabao Cup loss, they didn't lose. They only lost on penalties, they did not lose in normal time. As for the FA Cup, they managed to get to the fifth round of the FA Cup, beating MK Dons and Blackburn on the way before losing out to Newcastle in the fifth round of the FA Cup. And although they had a really tough run, really for almost over a month, that did not stop them. Their first half of the season was more than good enough to earn them that promotional spot, and even with a drop in form like they had in February and March. For those wondering who is in the Premier League as Burnley make their way back up, well, Man City managed to win the league once again, with Southampton actually earning a European spot, with West Brom, Stoke and Crystal Palace all getting relegated from the Premier League. So these are the teams that Burnley will have to contend with next season. So as we go into the fourth season, can Burnley and Ben Mee's side stay in the Premier League, or will they have to contend with relegation once again? Let's see, shall we? Well, for Ben Mee's side, it is joy as Burnley managed to survive relegation, keeping their place in the Premier League, with Southampton actually finishing in second with a very weird top four of Man City, Southampton, Newcastle and Manchester United. The three teams getting relegated were Brentford, Watford and Bournemouth, but those 2 points difference between Burnley and Brentford have kept Burnley in the Premier League. Across other competitions though, they actually managed to compete as they lost in the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup after beating Sheffield United, Brighton, Fulham and unfortunately losing to Aston Villa in the quarter-finals. They had a great run in the Carabao Cup, and as for the FA Cup, they managed to reach the fifth round once again, beating Barnsley, Blackpool and eventually losing to Leicester City. Ben Mee's got to be proud of his side, keeping them in the Premier League despite their runs of bad form throughout the year really, but they also managed to compete on other fronts and in other competitions. So as we go into the final season, can Ben Mee keep them in the Premier League one final time? Can he keep his job? Possibly one of, if not the first, to keep his job the entire time in any of these universes. Most people don't keep their job for this amount of time in modern day football, and Ben Mee is doing an amazing job, but can he continue that amazing job and take Burnley one step further, maybe a mid-table finish in the Premier League? Let's see, shall we? Hello? Yeah, there seems to be a problem. I seem to have gotten a mysterious letter. I think I don't really know. It seems to have come out of absolutely nowhere. I think I might be being watched or something. I must be, because something isn't right. I'm getting letters and I don't know where they're coming from. They're not even addressed to me. They just turn up on my table, and I've got a feeling something's wrong. They hung up on me. Brilliant. Glad to see that no one cares about any problems, which kind of just leaves it up to me. So, in Ben Mee's final season, he managed to secure a place in the Premier League once again, this time notching up 42 points. That is 9 points above the relegation zone, which consisted of Crystal Palace, West Brom and QPR, who QPR only notched up 19 points. It was a poor showing for QPR. But the top four consisting of Man City, Liverpool, Man United and Southampton, once again getting in that top four. Their manager, Pirlo, is absolutely loving it in Southampton at the moment. But Burnley, with Ben Mee at the forefront, have yet again proved people wrong. In the other competitions, though, they managed to beat Huddersfield and Sunderland before losing to Southampton in the fourth round of the Carabao Cup. And as for the FA Cup, they reached the fifth round once again, this time beating Sheffield United and Charlton before losing to Tottenham Hotspur in the fifth round of the FA Cup. It was a very, very good season for Burnley, and they have had an amazing time with Ben Mee at the forefront. So that brings this to an end. Unfortunately, I can't show you any further before breaking the fabrics of reality. Ben Mee's time as Burnley manager has been incredible, but that has to go on without us watching any further. It's a shame that you couldn't do it in your universe, and instead Vincent Kompany is in charge of Burnley. So without further ado, I must let you leave and stay in your universe before things begin to break around us. I will see all of you on the next episode of What If. That actually went suspiciously really well. Did not expect Ben Mee to actually do really well there. God knows.